Royal Beast+Game King Monster+Magic Modification+Cultivation+Aerial World. Fang Ning traveled to the world of beasts and surprisingly had countless Game King cards in his mind. Can the Devil's Axe be self-equipped? Can unicorn horns be bestowed with magic pets? At the awakening ceremony, Fang Ning summoned a lovable, little dog, with pink and white fur, and people around him discussed this brand new and unrecorded demon pet. But only Fang Ning knows, isn't this a pure love fairy? Pirli. The card slowly flipped over, and a girl with a gentle expression and a graceful figure slowly appeared next to Fang Ning. Fang Ning widened her eyes and realized it was you. The woman who sent the pharaoh away. I flipped the card again, huh? Why do you show a lazy and disdainful expression? Don't think your 9-year-old wayer, I dare not feed you candy. Chapter 1. Do not deceive young people into poverty. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At 4 o'clock in the morning, Fang Ning, who was on winter break at the university, sat at a computer desk admiring the Para factory he had built. Looking at the hard-working Paras, Fang Ning nodded with satisfaction and switched windows to prepare for the next game of King of Games. At this moment, his body suddenly tightened, his breathing became difficult, and his body twitched slightly. He died suddenly in the bedroom of the small building in Linyang City, Huagua. A young man with a green and handsome face suddenly propped up his upper body on the desk. His eyes were filled with panic and fear, and he kept panting heavily. Looking at the unfamiliar bedroom room decorations around him, Fang Ning slowly and steadily breathed. After thinking about it, he had a bold guess. Is this time traveling? Fang Ning suddenly felt a strong stabbing pain in her mind, which she couldn't bear. She hugged her head with both hands and fell off the chair with a thud to the ground. The pain quickly dissipated, and he found more memories about the original owner in his mind. Fang Ning propped up his upper body on the ground, trying to clarify his thoughts. In this memory, the original owner was also named Fang Ning, and his parents disappeared 6 years ago. He also has an older sister who is 4 years older than him, but left home 4 years ago. They have a bad relationship and rarely contact each other. The original owner, like him, died suddenly just now. The mind was tingling again, and Fang Ning guessed that it might be due to other memories about to appear. But then there was a dizziness in her mind, and Fang Ning's eyes turned black before falling to the ground again. When Fang Ning regained consciousness, he stood on a smooth ground covered in a layer of water, which reminded him of the venue for challenging the Full Moon Queen. There are countless Game King cards floating quietly in the air above my head. Fang Ning's face showed a surprised expression, wondering what the current situation was. Not far away, a young and inexperienced boy appeared, slowly walking towards Fang Ning. He approached Fang Ning and glanced at her. You're using my body now. Fang Ning looked at the other person and then lowered her head to look at the unfamiliar thin and weak palm, realizing that the other person should be the original owner. Well, you're dead, I'm here. Don't you feel guilty about using my body? I feel guilty, but you're dead. Fang Ning's speech left the other party speechless for a moment, causing an awkward atmosphere. Indeed. I'm dead. The other person's tone clearly lowered. You can use it if you want, but I have a request that you go to the Lingang secret realm to find the whereabouts of my parents. He lowered his head slightly and spoke solemnly. The officials said their chances of survival are slim. I don't believe it, at least you promised me to go there and take a look. Fang Ning didn't understand the current situation, so he naturally wouldn't rashly agree to the other party. I don't accept it, who knows what you want to do? He shook his head with a smile and said, you must pay the price for using my body. It's okay if you don't accept it. I'll look at you, you must go. As soon as he finished speaking, his figure turned into a puddle of water and disappeared. In an unknown dark corner, the original owner self-deprecatingly murmured, there is no price. There is nothing to look at you. It's just a dead person. Moral kidnapping cannot be achieved, a scam designed. Then he completely disappeared without leaving anything behind. Fang Ning's heart raced with excitement. What kind of person is this? If you can't be soft, just give me a hard one. After he disappeared, there was nothing around him except for the cards above his head. Fang Ning looked at the Game King card above her head with some confusion and said, "Is this my time crossing gold finger? Personally, I prefer the system." Thinking so much is useless, Fang Ning pondered how to use this golden finger. Is the dealer here? How about a card? Auntie, won't you give me any cards? Auntie, hurry up, Auntie, don't dawdle. With Fang Ning's elaborate gameplay, the floating game cards did not react as he had imagined. Fang Ning's face collapsed and he was speechless. Can't his golden fingers be used? Don't mess with me like that. Do you want me to spend money drawing cards? With the word "draw card" falling, the card on the head began to move. 3 cards turned into flowing light and fell, suspended in front of Fang Ning. Here. Here. My golden finger. Fang Ning's expression changed instantly, and he almost jumped up happily. He began to look at the 3 cards, which were Pure Love Fairy Pirli, Unicorn Horn, and Devil's Axe. Fang Ning was a bit puzzled and said, "How should this be used?" Before he could think it over, the scene before him suddenly twisted and he returned to the chair at his desk. Memories flooded into his head like a tide, and the feeling of swelling and pain made Fang Ning feel a bit unstable. He stood up shakily and lay on the bed beside him. After a long time, Fang Ning had digested all his memories, and the news in his memory made him excited. This is a world where you can guard against beasts. There is a powerful force called magic here. Those who successfully awaken and possess magic can sign contracts with various Warcraft creatures to receive them as magical pets. When graduating from high school, reaching the age of 18 can lead to magical awakening. Successful awakening can also lead to the acquisition of a native demon pet. And tomorrow is high school graduation. Countless students determine the moment for future students. The original owner was too excited to sleep before, and planned to take a role with others and study basic knowledge overnight, hoping to lead others after successful awakening, and then suddenly died. Fang Ning felt excited and uneasy about tomorrow's awakening. Thinking about things like the beast is exciting. We must wake up successfully. I am a man with golden fingers. He hugged the blanket and rolled around on the bed a few times, and the phone in his bag suddenly vibrated. Fang Ning took out her phone in confusion and saw that it was already 5 o'clock in the morning. He was curious about who messaged him at this time, as the original owner had poor social connections and had almost no friends. After a brief thought, Fang Ning opened his phone and saw a message among the few contacts in the communication software. Fang Moshue. If you fail to awaken tomorrow, you will honestly hold on to the house left by your parents. I have no expectations for you, and I will take care of your parents' affairs. Looking at this news, Fang Ning searched through his memory and understood what the situation was. Fang Moshue is his sister. After her parents went missing, the original owner became lazy and idle, looking like he was just waiting to die. After awakening again, Fang Moshue showed astonishing potential. 4 years ago, she had a big argument with the original owner and even beat up the unpopular original owner. Leaving a sentence. Waste is waste. You still want to find our parents just like this, slammed the door and left. Afterwards, she left the city with great talent and only provided a fixed monthly living allowance to the original owner without any other connections. After Fang Moshue left, the original owner seemed to have also awakened. Buried in learning, I only want to become strong after awakening and prove myself to Fang Moshue, and find my parents back. After excluding any external factors, Fang Ning's grades skyrocketed and he desperately wanted to catch up with his sister's footsteps, but he suddenly died. The sudden news from the sister who had not been in contact for 4 years made Fang Ning somewhat puzzled by her thoughts. Do you want to humiliate or care? After inheriting the original owner's memory, Fang Ning was also influenced emotionally. But Fang Ning finally felt that Fang Moshue's personality should not be bad, and the situation of the original owner at that time was indeed frustrating. She has been providing living expenses to the original owner since she left, as if she wants to give up this house to the original owner. Fang Ning is not the original owner now, he is a man with golden fingers. He quickly typed out a message and replied. A pen. But I don't think I will fail. Why do you think I must be weaker than you? Fang Ning really wants to go to Hedong and Heshi for 30 years, but it's too awkward and a bit tactful. Chapter 2. Start of testing. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the dormitory of Mordo University, a girl with long hair like snow and a cold temperament sits on a chair. She looked at the message replied by the other party on her phone, and a hint of surprise appeared in her indifferent eyes. After thinking for a moment, she replied to a message. Winter and snow scene. You seem to have become more confident. I was the first in the Linyang City trial, not weaker than me. You can give it a try. After sending the message, Fang Moshue threw her phone aside and ignored it. She stood up, swaying her long white hair, and walked towards the bedside. Her calm face had an imperceptible smile. Fang Ning looked at the message on his phone, which was like a challenge book, and chuckled loudly. Ignorant woman. You are challenging a man with golden fingers. Although I don't understand what those 3 game ace cards are for now, I will definitely discover them later. A wave of drowsiness struck, and then Fang Ning had to awaken his magic. He planned to sleep for a while. Memory is the opening line of dreams. Time waits for you to wake up. The ringing of the phone rang in my ear, and the memories in my dreams quickly faded away. Fang Ning glanced at the time. It's not too early, it's time to set off for school. The school will organize students to go to the Magic Pet Association to awaken their magic, and Fang Ning cannot make such a low-level mistake of being late. The Magic Pet Association is a place established by the country to provide specialized services for animal trainers, offering all services that are helpful to animal trainers. The house of Fang Ning's family is a 2-story standalone building with a small courtyard, all of which were left by his parents. They are all powerful animal guards. But as for how strong they are, I don't know. They have never told Fang Ning or Fang Moshue about their strength. There is not much difference between cities and the previous world, except that the cities in this world are surrounded by high walls and covered with transparent magic shields above. All of this is to prevent monsters outside the city from eyeing humans. Warcraft craves magic and the magic within the Beast Master, while humans also crave magic resources outside the city, and the two sides are destined to be incompatible. Due to the existence of magic in this world, the technology tree is also a bit crooked, and a large part of current technology relies on magical resources. In addition to wild monsters, humans have also developed their own mechanical magic pets. But a very low upper limit is ultimately slightly inferior. Not long after, Fang Ning also arrived at the school gate, where there were already many people. Everyone is anticipating and nervous about the upcoming awakening. After all, everyone wants powerful power. Perhaps the former academic scum will awaken into a genius beast, while the academic achievers will awaken and fail. Fang Ning was about to enter the school gate when suddenly an extra hand appeared on his shoulder, followed by angry insults from behind. Damn it, Fang Ning. I've been waiting for you, I'm going to skin you today. He frowned and turned around, realizing that it was a boy with a gauze on the corner of his eyebrows, accompanied by 2 thin and weak boys who looked like little brothers. Fang Ning identified 3 thugs at a glance and quickly rummaged through her memories to find out what had happened. The person wearing the gauze is called Tang Hu, who is Fang Ning's classmate and a very pure thug. Surrounded by his younger brother, they usually like to bully and engage in bullying, and Fang Ning can be considered a type of person who is specially cared for by them. Yesterday, Fang Ning was blocked by them again to borrow money. After all, in their eyes, Fang Ning is just an ATM that only knows how to study. But now, as the magic awakens, Fang Ning, whose mentality is swollen, can no longer bear this breath. He smashed the glass bottle directly onto his face with a thud, but ran away when he saw many people on the other side. Looking at Tang Hu's angry expression, Fang Ning smiled and pointed around. Peel off my skin. Everyone here needs to go to Magic Awakening. If you fight here and delay so many people's time, will no one come to take care of it? Fang Ning's physical fitness is currently weak, and a direct conflict will definitely result in great losses, which may even affect the subsequent awakening of magic. Afterwards is the awakening of magic. Tang Hu, Fang Ning has time to tidy up later. Thinking about the previous experiences of being bullied and bullied by the original owner, Tang Hu, you already have a way to die. His two younger brothers also looked around and whispered something to him. Tang Hu snorted and vigorously patted Fang Ning's shoulder, saying, after the magic awakens, you give me good. Good. Wait. After speaking, Tang Hu walked into the school gate with his younger brother. Fang Ning heard the threat from the other party and a cold light flashed in his eyes. I thought to myself, are you waiting? I'm afraid I can't help but go find you. After arriving at the classroom, there were very few people around Fang Ning, and most of them gathered around classmates from well-off families. After awakening, one is faced with two different lives. But no matter what kind of life it is ultimately right to flatter those who have money and power. Afterwards, the homeroom teacher gathered everyone to the school playground. After listening to the inspiring and passionate nonsense of the principal, Fang Ning and the others finally got on the car and headed towards the Magic Pet Association. In the car, the discussion of awakening among the people around did not stop for a moment. Even Fang Ning, who pretended to be calm while sitting, couldn't contain the restlessness in his heart. Fang Ning couldn't help but feel emotional in her heart. Royal Beast. Magic. Above 10,000 people. Admired by others. After a period of time, he arrived at the Magic Pet Association, which was a huge and magnificent building that made Fang Ning yearn for the Beast Master even more. I can't even imagine how great it would be to have a powerful beast tamer, as the country is wasting resources just for the sake of the beast tamer service. There were many people in the school, and they were divided into teams and went to different rooms to awaken. There is a technologically advanced lounge chair in the room, with a staff member standing beside it. There are 50 people in Fang Ning's room, and according to the queue number, he is ranked 25th. The staff started shouting numbers, and the first person went up, a boy they didn't know. He lay on the chair, and as the button was pressed, the lounge chair beneath him slowly emitted white light. The staff smiled and said, "Classmate, it's okay. The white light represents that you have successfully awakened. Congratulations." The boy quickly stood up and looked at the staff and the nearby Fang Ning crowd with a joyful expression on his face. Really, really. I really succeeded. The staff continued, "You should be able to feel your talent information now. Please follow my guidance to summon your own demon pet." Okay. Okay. You calm down and feel the depths of your body, where there will be a constantly rotating vortex, try to touch it. The boy closed his eyes, and Fang Ning became nervous watching him like this. He was also curious about what the summoning was like. After a moment, his eyes suddenly opened. Countless small radiances on the shoulders begin to gather. A little fox with red fur and a fluffy tail emitting flames appeared. The staff glanced at it and said, "Flame-tailed fox, with fire attributes and a high level of race, is ordinary and not bad." Next up. Fang Ning quickly recalled information in her mind. The racial hierarchy is divided into ordinary, warrior, commander, king, emperor, and myth. Each level is divided into 3 stages. Low, medium, and high. Race level has a significant impact on potential, strength, and growth rate. But as the level of the demon pet increases and evolves, it can increase the level of the race. There are also some natural materials and treasures that can be upgraded. The crowd suddenly exclaimed, "This is the summon. How handsome. Look at that little fox. It's so cute. A small group of people pursed their lips and said, it's just ordinary and advanced. Why are you so excited? Without a general, it's nothing. Fang Ning nodded at this, and if he wanted to grow without falling behind others, generals were indeed the most basic requirement. But for most people, even if awakening is successful, the footsteps of genius are not so easy to follow. The boy walked down with a flame-tailed fox and a smile, proudly pushing it to the girl in the crowd to hold and play. Chapter 3. Pilley appears. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Some people have taken to the stage one after another, but their luck is not very good, and no one has awakened for more than 10 consecutive times. This terrifying success rate made those around me unable to help but slow down their breathing. Quickly arriving at the 25th of Fang Ning, there were only 4 awakened individuals in front of them, all of whom were ordinary level magic pets. This increased Fang Ning's pressure and she could only lie on the chair, constantly comforting herself. I have golden fingers, I have golden fingers. Fang Ning's nervous eyes closed, and the sound of the button rang out, causing a loud bang in his head. A piece of information appeared in his mind, and 2 cards slowly emerged. Talent. Card draw once every 5 levels of improvement, skills. The unicorn horn can grant magic pets, and the demon axe can equip itself. My hair. This is my talent. I've taken off. I can even give magic pets skills. Fang Ning felt this message and was almost surprised to shout out. The staff came up and reminded, classmate, you have successfully awakened. Get up quickly. Fang Ning awkwardly smiled and said, oh, right away. Next is the summoning of the original demon pet. We must have a strong demon pet. Fang Ning suppressed his restless heart and slowly felt the vortex mentioned by the staff. The sound in Fang Ning's ear began to weaken, and slowly he could see a slowly spinning vortex. Next is touch, right? As soon as the idea of touch was expressed, Fang Ning felt a jolt, and then a dazzling white light erupted from the vortex. After the white light flashed, Fang Ning's vision returned to the awakening room, and suddenly felt something fluffy rubbing against her face. Before he could turn his head to look over, a sharp scream from the girl could be heard not far away. Oh my goodness! What kind of demon pet is this? It's so cute. Ah! Look at its tail. It feels even more fluffy than the tail of a flame-tailed fox. It's cute. And that little wing. Ah. I want it. Fang Ning saw that they had such a big reaction and quickly turned his head to look over. This glance was like 10,000 years, ah. How could it be you? Pure love fairy. Pilley. Pirli, sitting on Fang Ning's shoulder, was tilting her head and reaching out her small claws curiously to play with Fang Ning's hair. Her cute appearance was very attractive. Fang Ning is about to make a sharp explosion sound. How will Pilley fight? Attack and defense are 100. And how to assess the racial level? He looked at the staff beside him, who were also stunned. The staff stuttered and said, I haven't seen this before either. After speaking, he remembered something and quickly took out his phone. Everyone in the distance also took out their phones. Of course, this is not about taking photos and posting on social media. There is an official app on your phone that can scan your pet and display its information. Seeing them busy on their phones, Fang Ning felt a bit amused. This is a monster in Game King, how could you scan it out? Ha! I can't recognize it anymore. Yeah, I can't recognize it either. The crowd was filled with constant noise, discussing what was going on with Pirli, the demon pet. Everyone, be quiet. Listen to me. The staff shouted loudly, stopping the discussion in the crowd. Seeing that the surroundings were quieter, he straightened his expression and respectfully said to Fang Ning, classmate, your magic pet should be a brand new one that has not been included yet. Fang Ning thought to himself, Game King Monster, if you have really included it, it would be amazing. The crowd once again engaged in noisy discussions. Sleeping slot. It's really a demon pet that hasn't been included before. It should have been over a decade since the last time an unrecorded demon pet was summoned, right? Yes. Last time it was a chicken-shaped poultry, but I don't know how it evolved and became a massive flying creature with a high level of race-level judgment for kings. Fang Ning is also distressed. How should Pilley be cultivated? I should be able to pull up intensity with my own skills. After going back, you need to think and study. The staff ignored the noisy crowd behind and continued to speak to Fang Ning. Classmate, when you summon your own destiny demon pet, there should be some information left behind. Upon hearing this, Fang Ning also remembered that the original owner had mentioned in his memory that summoning this life demon pet would give some information to the beast tamer. He took a closer look and found that there were 3 cards in his body now, with a lot of information on the card surface. Name. Pure Love Fairy, Pirli, Level 1 Attribute. Like Race. Angel Clan Effect. None Skill. None. Seeing this thoughtful system panel, Fang Ning felt much more at ease and nodded at the staff. Tang Hu, who was standing at the door, was already stunned. He just came to see if Fang Ning had successfully awakened, and unexpectedly encountered such a thing. No, we need to go tell Tiger Brother quickly. He pondered to himself and ran away. The staff took out a form and smiled, saying, Classmate, can you register the information of this new demon pet with the association? After the association judges the information, it will give you a very generous reward. Fang Ning is a bit tempted. Even if basic information is not filled in, it will gradually be inferred later. Filling in now can earn a small reward, which is really good. As soon as Fang Ning took the pen, the staff spoke up and added, Please fill in the true information, otherwise the association will hold you accountable in the future. He didn't think about writing blindly, so he just filled in the information on the card and left the address. As for whether they believe it or how to judge the information, it is not something that the party would rather consider. Okay, the reward will be delivered around today. If you have any other information, you can register again. As for its race level, you can only explore it yourself. When the staff answered, they also took a photo of Pirli. Fang Ning nodded and walked towards the crowd holding Pirli. It was not very big and Fang Ning held it very easily. The crowd immediately became agitated, gathering around Fang Ning to look at Pirli in his arms. Pilley was not afraid of such a scene and smiled happily, looking around curiously. Its small meat cushion occasionally waved and bumped into the crowded girl's hand, causing waves of exclamation. Ah! Its meat pad touched me. It's so soft. Is it smiling at me? It's so cute. It's the new generation of cute kings. Besides these, there are some more serious people making combat effectiveness judgments. Its claws don't look very aggressive. Well, I guess it should be a type of magical attack. Don't worry, you see, it has wings and a dog-like body, and it may also be a speed-type magic pet. Fang Ning also agrees with the speculations of these people, which is similar to his understanding, but the specifics still need to be further studied. He summoned an unregistered demon pet, attracting too many people. Fang Ning was a bit annoyed and could only shout loudly, squeezing out. Let go. Let go. If I don't let go anymore, I'll take it back. After finally squeezing out the crowd, the homeroom teacher smiled and welcomed them like flowers. Ha ha ha, Fang Ning, I didn't expect you to summon an unrecorded demon pet. It has great potential, so you must cultivate it well. After a few polite words with the homeroom teacher, he pointed in a direction. Let Fang Ning go to the counter there to verify the information of the Beast Master and collect the certification reward. Chapter 4. Experience continuously added. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Fang Ning walked up to the counter and filled out some information. In no time, he received a card that appeared to be the identity certificate of the beast tamer. According to the teller's introduction, this card can be stored and consumed by various associations in China, and can also be used for daily consumption. Finally, she looked at the information I filled out and asked softly. Mr. Beast Master, the association can provide 10 randomly selected Warcraft crystals at levels 1.10. Do you require light attributes? Warcraft crystals can accelerate the upgrade of magic pets and can be obtained by killing them. Magic pets have a low absorption efficiency for attributes that do not match, and usually choose the same attribute. Absorbing crystals with the same attribute is the most stable, which can effectively improve the effect of corresponding attribute skills, and even have a very small probability of obtaining the skills of Warcraft from the source of crystals. But some gambling dogs will keep the magic pets absorbing crystals with different attributes, causing mutations during the evolution of the magic pets. Mutation and evolution may become stronger or weaker, consuming a large amount of crystals, and most people have no capital to play. Well, I need 10 crystals with light properties. Now even Pilley doesn't know how to cultivate, it's better not to take risks. The noise caused by Fang Ning was too loud, and people followed wherever they went. Although he enjoys the feeling of being surrounded by stars, becoming stronger now is the most crucial. Fang Ning suddenly saw Tang Hu in the crowd, with a dog-shaped demon pet that was twice the size of Pirli by his side. Its hair is flowing and its claws are not exposed to the air, and its strong aura makes no one around dare to approach it. Fang Ning frowned, he didn't expect Tang Hu to awaken successfully, and it seemed that his strength was still very strong. Feeling a bit troublesome, Fang Ning searched for information about this demon pet in her mind and instantly got results. Name. Speed dog race level. Medium general attribute. Wind basic skills. Haste, sharp teeth and claws. I didn't expect such a bad person to have such a strong demon pet. Fang Ning felt a bit uncomfortable. But soon he didn't worry anymore. With his golden finger around, Tang Hu counted his farts. Tang Hu noticed Fang Ning's gaze and stared back fiercely after a moment of confusion. His gaze seemed to say, so what if you summon an unrecorded demon pet, just a cute weak chicken? He communicated with the homeroom teacher about whether it was possible to advance, and the homeroom teacher agreed and instructed him to come to the school in the morning a week later for a trial and challenge. Fang Ning doesn't have much money and can only choose to walk home. On the way home, Pilley ran and touched around like a curious baby, but only stayed near me. The pedestrians on the road looked sideways, but due to their reverence for Fang Ning's identity as the Beast Master, no one dared to come up and touch Pirli. Pirli currently doesn't have any skills. I can try the effect of endowing unicorn horn when I go back. Fang Ning, who was thinking on the road, suddenly shuddered. A comfortable tingling sensation appeared throughout her body, and Fang Ning looked in surprise at Pilley playing. According to memory, this is the feedback from the upgrade of the Destiny Magic pet to its owner. Is that how Pirli upgraded? Take a look at the card face. Pirli's level has indeed changed to level 2. Careful observation of Pilley even reveals that its size has slightly increased, although not much. Fang Ning suddenly became agitated and remembered something. The background story of Pirli. Pirli, a pure love fairy, has a strong curiosity for new things and a clingy personality. Its growing preferences will affect its evolutionary path. For example, feeling happy, staying clean and beautiful, enjoying eating or sleeping. Based on the current situation, my Pirli will gain experience in eating, playing, bathing, and sleeping. Fang Ning felt a bit dizzy in her head, feeling like she was being beautifully attacked. It's so great. Add experience. Great. Fang Ning felt like he was walking lightly, inexplicably wanting to jump a few times, but he held back. Pirli sat on the ground with her cute and bleeding little head tilted, feeling a bit puzzled about her master. Upon returning home, Fang Ning hugged and vigorously rubbed Pilley's little head. He is now ready to try his empowerment skills. Fang Ning made a thought towards the unicorn horn, and Pilley's body emitted a slight radiance. Pirli dances her little paws to touch the dissipated light, it's incredibly cute. After 1 minute, the light completely disappeared, but there was no change in Pilley's body. Ah! Failed. Fang Ning checked the card information again. Name. Pirli skill. Unicorn horn, that's right, the skills section is also available. Fang Ning carefully examined the detailed information of the unicorn horn. Unicorn horn. Significantly increases attack and defense when activated. Fang Ning had some doubts about this. The card effect is different from the original increase of 700 attack and defense. Is this the translation that comes with this world? It's useless to think too much, and Fang Ning also inferred that the lack of response should be the reason why Pilley didn't activate her skills. Fang Ning took Pirli to the small courtyard and brought out a quite large potted plant from the corner. This potted plant is about to die, and no one has taken care of it since Fang Moshui left. It's just right to be used as a target. Watching Pilley curiously fiddling with the withered branches and leaves, Fang Ning was a bit worried about its desire to fight. Pirli is Fang Ning's innate favorite, and they have a certain ability to communicate with each other naturally. Fang Ning gave instructions to Pirli in her heart. Use skills to attack the dead wood. Pilley was still curious about playing with withered leaves in the last second, and immediately stepped back the next second the command arrived. The sharp horns of a unicorn made of light quickly appeared on its forehead. Pirli let out a low moan and transformed into a stream of light at an extremely fast speed, using sharp angles to collide with the withered potted plant. Watching Pirli continue to chase the potted plant rolling on the ground, Fang Ning continues to communicate. Stop. Pirli immediately regained her usual appearance and curiously spun around the potted plant. Fang Ning must admit that he wants to apologize to Pirli and should not question her desire to fight. In the game King Duel, you let it with 100 attack power collide with the blue-eyed Chaos Extreme Dragon with 4000 attack power without any hesitation. How can you question it? Pirli, please listen to her master and spoil her. Fang Ning questioned the demon pet, the person is bad. Carrying Pirli back to the sofa on the first floor, Fang Ning took out 10 light crystal stones and placed them on the coffee table. Fang Ning and Pilley communicated to let it absorb, while Pilley sat on the coffee table with 2 small claws holding onto the crystal. According to the spiritual communication, Fang Ning reluctantly understood that Pirli knew how to absorb it, so she walked upstairs. It needs to go to the bedroom to tidy up. Just squatting at home won't improve its strength much, so it needs to go out. Fang Ning's room is adjacent to Fang Moshui's room, and to return to the room, one must pass through Fang Moshui's door. Looking at the door adorned with a hint of girlishness in front of him, Fang Ning couldn't help but daydream. In my memory, this gate was arranged by her parents for Fang Moshui. Fang Moshui didn't really like it, but because it was arranged by her parents, she ultimately chose to accept it. There is no memory of what the room looks like in my mind. Fang Ning feels a bit itchy in his heart. He hasn't seen what a girl's room looks like yet. He stood at the door with his head down, constantly glancing at the door from the corner of his eye, feeling conflicted in his heart. Chapter 5. Power soars up. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the end, curiosity defeated Fang Ning's rationality. Fang Ning reached out and slowly pushed open the room door, and the scene inside the room immediately caught his eye. But the first thing to arrive is the choking musty smell and dust. Cough. Fang Ning coughed a few times, squinting and constantly waving the raised dust. The original owner hasn't come in to clean for years, I should have thought of it long ago. There was no scent that Fang Ning had imagined in the room, only items with a pink tone were placed everywhere. Based on memory, Fang Moshui didn't really like pink, and Fang Ning also inferred that it was probably her parents' intention. The room only had some simple basic decorations, with only a few additional photo frames taken away. Realizing that there was nothing to pay attention to, Fang Ning looked at the empty room and felt a sense of loneliness inexplicably in her heart. He took out his phone and sent a message to Fang Moshue. A pen. I have successfully awakened. I am an unrecorded demon pet, is it worse than you? Fang Ning curled his lips after sending the message, as if he had already seen Fang Moshue's shocked expression. But he felt that he might not receive a reply for a while, so Fang Ning put back his phone and went to his room to tidy up his outdoor equipment. After being busy for a while, he flipped out a backpack and put some clothes, water bottles, and other items on it. At this moment, Fang Ning noticed that Fang Moshue's reply message was displayed on the phone. He couldn't help but show a proud smile and quickly clicked on it. Fang Moshue. Fang Ning couldn't hold her breath. Can you just send a message? Where are the other reactions I want? At the moment when Fang Ning was angry, his body felt a tingling sensation again, which was extremely obvious this time. He even felt that his physical fitness had skyrocketed a lot. He quickly ran downstairs and checked Pirli's information. Name. Pirli level. For skills. Unicorn Horn and Light Blade, I really advanced 2 levels in a row. And I also absorbed new skills. Fang Ning's footsteps became faster and faster. The level of this life demon pet is the level of the demon pet owner, so the cultivation of this life demon pets is extremely important. After the master's level is raised, not only will their magic be increased, but also the rotation speed of the internal vortex will be accelerated. As the rotation speed increases, the magic that the magic pet can absorb will also increase. This will form a virtuous cycle. Both sides grow strong together. After Fang Ning went downstairs, Pirli ran towards him happily and sat quietly on his shoulder. Looking at the empty coffee table, Fang Ning was stunned. He didn't expect Pilley to absorb it so quickly. According to Fang Ning's previous memory, this absorption speed and benefit effect may only be so terrifying if the race level is above the leader level. He looked at the cute and adorable Pilley on his shoulder. It's hard to imagine how powerful it would be. Fang Ning quickly ran to the small courtyard to test the new skill of Light Blade. On the way, he thought about the origin of this skill, and thanks to the knowledge left by the original owner, he quickly got the answer. Name. Flowing Griffin Attribute. Light Race Level. Advanced General. This is an attack skill of a high-level warrior race. Completely compensates for Pilley's lack of initial skills. Fang Ning looked at Pirli like a baby and said, "You're really the Emperor of Europe." Looking at the potted plant that had been knocked down before, Fang Ning smiled and gave instructions in her heart. Pirli, Blade of Light. Pieri, who is still combing hair on his shoulder, is about to enter combat mode. The unicorn's horn quickly appeared on the forehead, and a beam of light shot out from the unicorn's horn. The distant potted plants suddenly made a cracking sound. Various fragments exploded and scattered. Fang Ning looked at the beam of light only 1 foot away from his head and the shattered flower pot in the distance, sweating profusely. He couldn't even imagine how outrageous it would be if this blow hit him. That was a combination of skills just now. Fang Ning finally realized that Pilley had already transformed. Its current appearance is extremely confusing. Pirli's current speed combined with attack methods is enough to counter high-level monsters of the same level. Pirli is so strong now, and Fang Ning feels that he can't fall behind either. Let go of Pirli on his shoulders. It's time to test the last card. With the activation of his mind, Fang Ning quickly condensed an axe embedded with a green head in his hand. Devil's Axe. Significantly increases the user's power. Looking at the terrifying green head on the axe, Fang Ning felt a chill rise, but it seemed to be just a decoration, with no other effect. Fang Ning clearly felt a rising force in her body. But the magic inside the body has also been consumed a lot, and the devil's axe is still barely usable for the current Fang Ning. Playing with the axe in his hand, Fang Ning looked at the pile of dead potted plants in the corner. With a smile on his face, he quickly ran over and transformed into Chianga, killing all directions in the potted plant. Pilley saw her master playing so happily and rushed in and around, babbling and screaming. The alley not far from Fang Ning's house. Tiger brother, what are we doing here? Yeah, brother who, that kid probably won't come out for a while. It's not good to delay your cultivation of the demon pet. Listening to the voices of the two younger brothers, Tang Hu chuckled and snorted coldly, do you think I don't know? Fang Ning has registered information with the association, and there will definitely be many rewards sent over afterwards. He went out to purchase training resources, and we stopped him. The rewards were just. Humph. The two younger brothers suddenly realized and quickly flattered, you are truly Tiger brother. You want so much. But Tiger brother, he has a demon pet, and the two of us haven't awakened successfully. I'm afraid. Yeah, the two of us. Tang Hu angrily cursed, what are you afraid of? I'm going to peel off your Tiger brother's skin today. It's been a while since I last hung the lottery. I actually stumbled in front of this weak chicken. After speaking, he cursed at his two younger brothers, if you're afraid, just go away. The two younger brothers looked at each other and said, then let's go find a better restaurant to wait for Tiger brother. Tiger brother should be careful when he starts, don't cause any harm. Tang Hu leaned down and stroked the running dog with a sneer, saying, so what? The conflict between the beast guards has long been tacitly agreed upon by the country. As long as it doesn't harm ordinary people or kill too many people, there won't be much of a big deal. Fang Ning wiped the sweat off her forehead, looked at the results of her sweeping, and then looked at the 3 minutes spent on her phone, nodding in satisfaction. Although it has caused a mess, it effectively demonstrates Fang Ning's current combat effectiveness. After that, just clean it up. Anyway, he will also replace the dead potted plants. Fang Ning used her phone to capture the results of her battle with Pirli and sent them to Fang Moshue. A pen. Picture a pen. 3 minutes of destructive power, how about it quickly? Fang Moshue's message came back, probably just playing with her phone. Fang Moshue. Those are the potted plants I planted a pen. Fang Moshue. Forget it, anyway, it also withered to death. Fang Moshue. If you get sick again, go to the Shadow Demon Forest outside the city. Don't harm the things left by your parents and me. Chapter 6. New Skills. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It's so awkward. Fang Ning quickly exited the back end. It's almost 2 o'clock now, and Fang Ning ordered 2 takeout orders. He felt that Pirli should not be picky about food. Previously, Fang Ning did not work to earn money, resulting in a current savings of only 2,000 Dragon Gate coins, making it impossible to afford specialized magic pet food. The price of a regular 1.10 level crystal is between 500 and 2,000 Dragon's Gate coins, and the price may fluctuate due to special attributes and different race levels. The higher the level, the more outrageous the price is. Now, the poor Fang Ning can only work hard to make money. Don't mention that there will be magic equipment to strengthen your magic pets and enhance your own strength in the future, those are even more expensive. On the way to food delivery, he quickly cleaned up the mess he had caused. The takeout is here, and indeed Pilley knows how to eat these things. It thinks it's delicious and flaunts it fiercely. After finishing the meal, after a tiring morning and barely staying up all night last night, Fang Ning felt drowsy. He lay on the sofa, ready to take a nap, while waiting for the guild's reward to be delivered. Pirli also lacked energy and was taken back by Fang Ning. Becoming a pearl of light embedded in the center of the vortex within Fang Ning's body, she quietly began to rest. Ding ding ding. The time the doorbell rang woke Fang Ning up on the sofa, and Fang Ning got up in a daze and went to open the door. Opening the door, he found a staff member wearing the uniform of the Magic Pet Association, who was still holding a delivery box. Fang Ning quickly regained consciousness. After politely thanking him, Fang Ning quickly closed the door and excitedly opened the express box in her hand while walking. The newbie reward is here. My big gift pack. After thoroughly pouring out the items inside, Fang Ning found a piece of paper falling out and picked it up to check. List. Randomly 10 light attribute crystals at levels 1.10, 10 packs of meat jerky feed for carnivorous pets, 10 packs of vegetable feed for vegetarian pets, and 20,000 Dragon's Gate coins, checked in. Fang Ning made a simple count and the quantity was correct. He put all the feed into his backpack. He summoned Pirli, who was still drowsy and constantly shaking his head. Fang Ning took out a piece of dried meat and fed it to Pilley, who immediately widened its eyes and regained its full energy. It kept walking around Fang Ning, and through spiritual communication, Fang Ning also knew that it still wanted something. Fang Ning shook her head with a bitter smile and said, "This won't evolve into a plump fairy, will it?" He collected the remaining jerky, and Pilley looked a bit disappointed. Seeing this, Fang Ning quickly fed a few more pieces of jerky. Fang Ning pushed 10 crystal stones over, and now he really wants to know how Pirli absorbed the crystals. As Fang Ning took out the crystal stone, Pirli seemed to have seen something more interesting. It quickly put down the jerky it was holding, ran over quickly, and ate a crystal in one bite. Sleeping trough. Is that all you have to eat? That's a hard mineral. Fang Ning felt that some of the memories in his mind were already unusable, and Pilley opened up the world. Generally, magic pets break down minerals to absorb the magic they emit. And in front of Fang Ning's eyes, Pirli ate crystal stones one by one, happily eating just after 10 crystals were taken down. Pirli upgraded. It has reached level 5. Fang Ning noticed that Pirli's level had improved, and he suddenly remembered his talent. Talent. Card draw. Draw once every 5 levels of improvement, he can draw cards again. Fang Ning quickly calmed down and her consciousness slowly penetrated into her body. After his vision became clear, he stood on the smooth ground that resembled the full moon queen challenge field. Fang Ning looked at the numerous Game King cards on his head, recalled his last experience, and shouted loudly. Draw a card. The card group was restless in an instant, turning into streams of light constantly shuttling through the air. Slowly calming down, a card quickly fell and suspended in front of Fang Ning. Fang Ning excitedly stepped forward, held it in his hand, and carefully examined it. Hermit's Poison. It can produce poison and therapeutic potions. Oh! What a miracle! I can be either a warrior or a wet nurse now. This skill is too important for Fang Ning. In this world, it is inevitable for demon pets to be injured in battles, and the cost of treatment is terrifying. Most of the growing beast tamers will contract a healing-type magic pet to deal with unexpected situations. Subsequently, Fang Ning was slowly surrounded by darkness, and when she opened her eyes, she had already returned to the sofa on the first floor. Pirli is bouncing around on the sofa, playing happily. Fang Ning clenched her fist and couldn't wait to experiment with new skills. Come on. Let me take a look. Activate the hidden man's poison potion to make a highly toxic potion. In almost an instant, a glass bottle containing purple liquid appeared in his hand. Fang Ning suddenly shook his mind and collapsed onto the sofa, feeling powerless. After a few seconds, he finally regained his composure. He looked at the highly toxic potion in his hand in shock and said, "It's so ruthless. One skill takes almost half of my magic." Suddenly using so much magic, Fang Ning collapsed without adapting for a while. Fang Ning let out a sigh of relief. With psychological preparation, he shouldn't have fallen to the ground like he does now. In order not to continue being a spendthrift, Fang Ning searched for a dictionary and slowly poured the potion onto it. Zzz. At the moment when the potion touched the page of the book, Fang Ning quickly stopped his voice. Looking at more than half of the liquid remaining in his hand, and then looking at the dictionary that was almost corroded, Fang Ning struggled to swallow his saliva. This is a highly toxic potion. How come I feel like it's sulfuric acid? There is a paper cup on the table. Fang Ning adds some water and slowly drips poisonous potions into it. There was no reaction when the medicine was added to water, only a faint fragrance added to the air. For safety reasons, Fang Ning threw the water cup on the lawn of the small courtyard. The water in the cup splashed all over the ground, making a slight sizzling sound. Well, it looks pretty good when used as a keen person. Fang Ning warned Pilley not to come into contact with that water and prepared to try the effect of another therapeutic drug. At this moment, the highly toxic potion in his hand turned into starlight dots and disappeared, and the remaining potions in the dictionary also disappeared. There's a time limit. Unfortunately, I can't save it anymore. After touching Pilley's little head and resting for a while, the magic had almost recovered. As the skill was activated, a glass bottle resembling a highly toxic potion appeared in Fang Ning's hand. Looking at the green liquid medicine in his hand, Fang Ning began to think about how to experiment with its effectiveness. Here, use your horn. Pirli rushed into Fang Ning's arms and obediently summoned the unicorn horn. Fang Ning looked at the sharp corner in front of her, gritted her teeth, stomped her feet, and stretched out her finger to cut a few millimeters of wound. He sped up the pouring speed of the medicine on his hand, because the speed was slow, and the wound healed. After the medicine came into contact with the wound, it emitted a faint light. After the light disappeared, the wound was gone, not even a scar. Fang Ning nodded in satisfaction. He was very satisfied with the therapeutic effect. Looking at the remaining half of the medicine, he wanted to try the oral effect and took a small sip. So sweet. Enjoy it. I feel pretty good. Fang Ning drank all the rest in one breath. Vomit. Vomit. The medicine entered his throat, and Fang Ning began to retch. He really didn't expect this medicine to be so sweet. Chapter 7. First Murder. You are listening at novelfull.audio. But after drinking the therapeutic medication, Fang Ning's fatigue just waking up subsided significantly. Fang Ning is very satisfied with this skill, but it is still limited by not having enough magic. He remembered the 20,000 Dragon Gate coins he had just received and decided to go out to buy crystals and items for wilderness survival. Stepping out of the room, it was already past 7 p.m. There are only a few pedestrians in pairs. After all, Linyang City is not a big city and the population density is not too high. Fang Ning plans to purchase crystals with 10,000 Longmen coins first, and keep the remaining money for emergency use. Tomorrow, he will go to the Shadow Demon Forest outside the city to exercise his combat skills. As I walked through a gloomy alley, a low roar suddenly came from the darkness. Woo! A black shadow suddenly rushed out, charging towards Pirli next to Fang Ning. This sudden attack left Fang Ning unresponsive for a moment. Pirli reacted extremely quickly, and at the same time as danger approached, she also used the unicorn horn to counterattack. The sharp claws with a cold gleam brushed past Pirli's fur, leaving a thin and long bloodstain, but it had little effect. But the other party didn't do much better either. Although it dodged the sharp corner, it was still knocked out. By the light of the streetlights, Fang Ning could see the attacker's appearance, who was actually a speeding dog. In Fang Ning's memory, there is only one person who has this kind of magical pet. Tang Hu. A person slowly emerged from the darkness of the alley, and it was Tang Hu. He crossed his hands and raised his eyebrows sarcastically. I didn't expect your little trash to react well. I thought I could just waste it in one go. Fang Ning gritted his teeth tightly and his anger rose. He thought to himself, if we don't cause any trouble today, we can't justify it. I know you've received the reward, hand it in, otherwise I'll waste your magic pet today. This life demon pet is very important to the beast tamer. If this life demon pet is deposed, it will be difficult for the beast tamer to level up. It can almost declare the end of the beast master's career. Fang Ning cursed angrily, I'll give it to your uncle. Pirli received an attack command and the beam of light, which was already ready to be fired, instantly shot towards Tang Hu. The speed dog is extremely fast, and Fang Ning is the best choice for the Beast Master himself. Tang Hu looked at the dazzling beam of light and his face turned pale as the beam was about to reach him. His figure suddenly flashed strangely and quickly to the side, dodging this attack. Fang Ning narrowed her eyes and frowned as she looked at Tang Hu. Is this his innate skill? Tang Hu stumbled a few steps and pointed at Fang Ning's nose, saying, "What a special thing. A racing dog. Tear him apart." The racing dog quickly ran towards me, dodging a few pearly beams of light with extremely fast speed, and pounced on Fang Ning. Faced with the threat of wild attacks, Fang Ning was also somewhat at a loss. But a stream of light flashed through the air, and Pirli leaped into the air, piercing through the waist and abdomen of the speeding dog at a sharp angle. The rushing dog howled and fell to the ground, then gritted its teeth and quickly stood up to protect the pale-faced Tang Hu behind it. Tang Hu was a bit incredulous, his voice trembling as he said, "What speed is this? My racing dog is level 3. Now Tang Hu's heart is dripping with blood as he watches the injured Jeopardy dog. He gritted his teeth and stared closely at what decision Fang Ning had made, commanding the rapid dog to attack again. The body shape of the racing dog keeps moving rapidly left and right, and its speed is much faster than before. Fang Ning has determined that this is the speed skill of the speed dog. Quickly send out a spiritual exchange to Pilley. Pay attention to its biting and claw attacks. Pirli's speed is not slow, and she is entangled with the racing dog, faintly gaining the upper hand. It dodged several rapid clawed attacks from the speeding dog, and seized the opportunity to burst out with a beam of light. The speed of light is extremely fast, and a racing dog at such a short distance cannot dodge in time. It let out a painful howl, fell to the ground and struggled frantically, but wobbled and couldn't stand still. Just as Fang Ning thought the battle was almost over, Tang Hu's figure suddenly appeared in front of him. Tang Hu somehow used his innate skills to get closer to Fang Ning. The small knife in his hand was shining brightly and stabbed at him. Fortunately, Fang Ning's physical fitness has improved a lot and she quickly twisted her waist to avoid it. But he still scratched his arm, and Fang Ning frowned in pain. The demon axe in his hand appeared instantly. Biting his teeth and chopping towards Tang Hu's face, Tang Hu still wanted to resist with a small knife, but in front of the immense power of the devil's axe, it was in vain. The devil's axe slashed fiercely into his chest. Blood splatters everywhere. Tang Hu let out a loud scream, his body suddenly stiffened in place, his eyes filled with fear as he looked towards Fang Ning. Fang Ning felt the touch of the axe touching the bones, her heart trembling, and her hand holding the axe was also trembling slightly. He forcefully kicked Tang Hu in the stomach with his feet, and Tang Hu's body softened and fell to the ground, howling incessantly, covering his bleeding chest and shrinking into a ball. Looking at the blood on the devil's axe and Tang Hu, who was powerless to resist. There was a hint of hesitation in Fang Ning's eyes. He had never killed anyone but Tang Hugang's cold gaze with a knife appeared in his mind, and the scene of the original owner being bullied. Fang Ning's eyes flickered with a cold light as she gritted her teeth and walked up to Tang Hu. "Tang Hu, don't be so arrogant as a dog in your next life," said coldly. Tang Hu reacted and waved his arm in panic, saying, No, I was wrong. I really." Before he could finish speaking, the devil's axe had already landed on his forehead. Various liquids splashed out from the gap, and Tang Hu's body twitched and trembled for a moment before becoming motionless, and his original demon pet also transformed into a light spot and dissipated. A green crystal dropped to the ground with a warning, and was curiously bitten by Pirli. Fang Ning raised her head and her gaze coincidentally met the gaze of an ordinary person passing by. The passers-by showed fear and prepared to flee, but saw the demon pet next to Fang Ning and breathed a sigh of relief in an instant. His expression calmed down for a moment, but he didn't pay much attention. He walked away quickly. Fang Ning was a bit puzzled, but soon he remembered it from his memory. The conflict between the beast guards should not affect ordinary people. If they harm ordinary people recklessly, the country will take action, and generally no one wants to be dealt with by the country. At this moment, more liquid flowed out of Tang Hu's incomplete head, crawling over his face. Fang Ning suddenly felt a nauseous sensation and ran to a corner, vomiting uncontrollably. He kept comforting himself that it was tacitly allowed for the beast guards to fight against each other in this world. But acquiescence in killing and actual killing are two different things. The psychological and physiological discomfort was impacting Fang Ning's mind. After vomiting, Fang Ning felt a bit confused and took out her phone, clicking on a chat box. A pen. I killed someone. After typing these words, Fang Ning inexplicably and urgently hoped that the other party would reply to him soon. Fang Ning tightly bit her lips, while Pirli lowered her head and gently rubbed against the corners of his pants. Fang Mashue. I have also killed him before. Upon seeing this message, Fang Ning's tense mood suddenly eased a lot. Fang Ning smiled bitterly and muttered to herself, she wouldn't think I was showing off to her, would she? Subsequently, several messages were sent. Fang Mashue. Beast Master. A pen. Fang Mashue. Is there much noise or movement? A pen. Not big. Fang Mashue. Handle it well, the country won't handle it the first time. Fang Mashue. Let your demon pet eat it or find a quiet corner to destroy it. A pen. Through these few conversations, Fang Ning's mental burden has been reduced significantly, and she has come to understand the matter of murder. He crouched down, created a healing potion and poured it onto Pilley's wound, then glanced at Tang Hu's body. Fang Ning shook her head and said with a bitter smile, even if Pilley likes to eat, she can't possibly eat this. We need to find another way. Chapter 8. Picking up money. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Looking at the remaining therapeutic potions, Fang Ning didn't waste himself drinking them. The discomfort left by previous nausea disappeared a lot after drinking the medication. Fang Ning looked at the remaining glass bottle in his hand and had an idea. You can try the effect of highly toxic potions on corpses, as they are highly corrosive. Fortunately, it is currently evening, and no one will come to the place where Tang Hu chose to launch a surprise attack at this time. Fang Ning rested for a while, and when her magic was almost restored, she began to destroy the body. Tang Hu only has a few hundred Dragon Gate coins on his body, and nothing else. The crystal should have been absorbed. Fang Ning dragged Tang Hu's body and placed him next to a sewer. The poisonous potion evenly dripped onto his body, making a sizzling sound. A foul odor came towards Fang Ning, almost causing her to vomit again. After smelling the smell, Pirli quickly moved away from this area. Fang Ning furrowed his brows, covered his mouth and nose, and continued to pour the medicine. He had already seen the bones slowly melting away. After resting for a while, I used it back and forth 4 or 5 times before completely turning the body into pus. Looking at Tang Hu, who had completely disappeared, Fang Ning exhaled a murky breath and continued on the next journey. That green crystal has a wind attribute and was sold by Fang Ning. Because of their high race, they were more valuable and sold 1500 Dragon Gate coins. Every 10th level is a stage, and magic pets cannot absorb crystals beyond that stage. Magic pets generally cannot obtain skills that surpass their own race by a large stage. Considering Pirli's uniqueness, Fang Ning used 13500 Dragon Gate coins. I bought 2 random high-level warrior level 10 light attribute crystals. Before the 10th level, the demon pet can have 3 skills, with 1 vacancy added every 10th level. Demon pets may gain race-specific skills for every 10 levels they level up. But Pirli's situation is special, and Fang Ning plans to see if he can make up for the last skill. I was originally thinking that Fang Ning would try to gamble on the leader level crystal, but it's too expensive and out of stock. The teller said that it is almost impossible to see a leader level warcraft that has not yet grown up, let alone kill dropped crystals. When there is such an opportunity, everyone will choose a contract instead of killing. This type of crystal belongs to the category of valuable but not marketable. Upon careful consideration, Fang Ning did indeed understand one thing. The skills of most people's innate magic pets should initially be at the level of war generals, of course, excluding those geniuses. The probability of absorbing skills is already low, and this is a rare item, too difficult. After Fang Ning bought what she needed for going out, she went home. Because of Tang Hu's situation, Fang Ning didn't have much appetite, so after feeding Pilley full, he carried her to bed. After playing with his phone for a while, Fang Ning handed the crystal stone to Pilley and fell asleep. Don't break again, don't wither again, continue to be intoxicated, self-winding. The familiar alarm rang, and a warm little paw leaned against Fang Ning's face. Fang Ning sat up with her waist stretched out, feeling very comfortable all over. He checked the panel and found out that Pirli is already level 6. I didn't waste those 2 crystals, it's just a pity I didn't acquire any skills. Pack up his backpack, Fang Ning took Pirli to the Magic Pet Association. The Magic Pet Association has a dedicated place to place task boards, and Fang Ning plans to earn some money while exercising. Coming to the task delegation board, there are many people gathered here, not only students but also many adults. The appearance of Fang Ning has attracted a lot of attention, mostly from students. After all, it's so novel for Fang Ning to summon an unrecorded demon pet. Everyone is curious if this demon pet has any special features. Fang Ning didn't care about the gaze of these people either, and pushed himself into the crowd to find a suitable task. Just as Fang Ning was searching for a mission, someone suddenly called out his name in a cheerful voice. Hello, is that Fang Ning? Fang Ning turned her head in confusion, and behind him was a beautiful girl with a bright smile on her face and wearing casual sportswear. At a glance, Fang Ning could feel the lively personality of the other person. What's up with me? After searching through his memory, Fang Ning was certain that he had not known this girl before, so he responded politely. The girl smiled and took a step closer to Fang Ning. I'm from the same school as you. My name is Pirli, you should know me. Fang Ning roused in his heart, I'm sorry I don't know you, but the original owner is dedicated to reading only the books of sages and sages. Fang Ning's face turned pale as she tilted her head and shook it, saying, sorry, I don't know. After hearing this, Pirli felt as if she had been hit and touched her face. She lowered her head again and glanced at her proud figure. She didn't expect the other person to not recognize her. Pirli awkwardly smiled and said, it's okay, I know you now. I actually want to discuss something with you. After she finished speaking, she suddenly became twisted and her eyes occasionally glanced at Fang Ning's shoulder. Can I hug your pure love fairy? Fang Ning is a bit puzzled as to how the other party knows Pilley's racial name. But he quickly realized that he had registered the information, and the association should have already synchronized it on the mobile app. Why has his face changed? Are you unwilling to agree? Pirli couldn't help but think wildly when she saw Fang Ning's face change. I really want to touch it. And Pirli's gaze became even more eager as she looked at Pirli. Fang Ning, are you unwilling? I can give you crystals or longmen coins. After listening to what she said, Fang Ning suddenly froze. Sleeping trough, where did the rich woman come from? Is there such a good thing? Please make sure to have more. Fang Ning will definitely not miss this opportunity to pick up money. He coughed and said, Pirli, you can hold it, but I respect the demon pet more and it must be willing. Fang Ning paused and said, as for longmen coin, it's 8 in a minute. Before Fang Ning could finish quoting the price, Pirli handed him a stack of money, as if afraid that Fang Ning would back out. There should be over 1,000 longmen coins here, I'll just play. No, just hold them for a while. Fang Ning looked at the Dragon Gate coin in his hand with great joy and said, I've picked it up. He quickly communicated with Pirli on his shoulder and said, hurry up. Hurry up. The rich woman is here. We must keep her. Pirli tilted her head, her eyes full of confusion, but soon obediently threw herself into Bailey's arms. Holding Bailey, the joy on her face couldn't be contained. After caressing Pirli for a while, Bailey gently probed and asked, "Can I take it for a walk around?" This made it difficult for Fang Ning, as Pirli was his own demon pet and he could retrieve her at any time. But after leaving his sight, there might be something unexpected. Fang Ning patted her chin and nodded, "Sure, there are two conditions. Let me follow you and ask for an increase in money." Bailey hesitated for a moment, but still smiled and agreed. "Okay." She handed Fang Ning several hundred Dragon Gate coins again. Feeling the thickness of the Dragon Gate coin on his body, Fang Ning estimated that it was already over 2,000 by now. Sure enough, making money still depends on oneself. "Pieri, come on." Fang Ning followed behind Bailey, watching her play with Pilley, and walked to the location where the crystal stones were sold. Suddenly, Bailey shouted ahead, "Xiao Meng. Look over here." A beautiful and graceful white girl in a long dress walked over in the distance. This girl Fang Ning has an impression upon seeing it, she is the school flower of the original main school. "My name is Luo Meng, I am excellent in both character and education. I come from a great family background and have strong parents who are skilled in animal husbandry." Bailey smiled and jumped up to greet her, showing her Pirli in her arms to Luo Meng. "Xiao Meng. You lost. Did you see it? It's cuter than your snow elf, isn't it?" Chapter 9. Brother, how fragrant you are. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Luo Meng looked at Pirli, who was held by Bailey, and blinked at her. His expression changed for a moment, and he reached out to touch it, but then stopped moving. She sighed and pressed her forehead. "Okay, it's indeed cuter, but why haven't I seen this demon pet?" Luo Meng raised her eyebrows lightly as if she understood something. "Is this the unlisted demon pet from yesterday?" "Yeah. I'm willing to give up 5,000 Dragon Gate coins and admit that my Moonlight Fox is cuter than your snow elf." Luo Meng nodded helplessly. She just casually agreed, but didn't expect her good friend to really go find her. "Long Men coin will be sent to you on your phone later, but as for Moonlight Fox is more adorable than Snow Elf." Luo Meng's voice became quieter and quieter from behind, while Bailey's laughter grew louder and louder. The amount of information is a bit large, and Fang Ning didn't process it all at once. But he understood one thing. These two people have great abilities and cannot be provoked. Name. Snow Elf attribute. Ice race level. Lower commander skills. Snow domain, Ice crystal name. Moonlight Fox attribute. Light race level. Lower commander skill. Foxtail blade, shadow hidden. It is said that high-level demon pets also have additional special effects. Luo Meng suddenly reacted and asked, "No, why is this demon pet in your hands?" Bailey's smiling face froze in an instant, and she quickly turned her head to tuck Pirli into my arms. "Ha! Ha! I spent money to rent it, not right." It was disgust. Holding the suddenly delivered Pirli, Fang Ning's gaze collided with Luo Meng's gaze. Fang Ning smiled awkwardly, unsure of what to say. "What am I doing? You two great gods just need to play. Follow me for what I'm doing." Luo Meng glared fiercely at Bailey and said, "You're making the owner feel embarrassed, don't you know?" Fang Ning was stunned and silently roast. "In fact, I'm more embarrassed when you say so." Bailey turned her head and hummed a song, ignoring what Luo Meng said. Luo Meng became even angrier upon seeing this, and Fang Ning felt that the situation was not quite right. "Something's wrong, the money has already been taken, hurry up and run away." Fang Ning spoke at an extremely fast pace and said, "If it's okay, I'll leave." Regardless of their next answer, Fang Ning turned around and went back to take on the entrusted task. Although there were some minor incidents, the result was good, earning 2,100 Long Men coins. After some selection, Fang Ning has determined a task commission that can be accepted by multiple people simultaneously. There is no limit to the number of shadow demon claws that can be collected. There are many such creatures in the shadow demon forest outside the city. It is a type of humanoid elf that is good at hiding in the dark and has very sharp claws. Name: Shadow Demon Attribute. Dark Race Level. Medium Ordinary Skill. Cutting the claws of shadow demons can be used as materials to make some melee weapons, and the quality of the weapons is quite popular. Fang Ning successfully received the entrusted number by registering it on her phone. After a while, Fang Ning arrived at the city gate and registered briefly before leaving. There is no warning, persuasion, or inspection. There are only monsters outside the city. If you want to go, go. After all, good words are hard to persuade damn ghosts. The Shadow Demon Forest is nothing special, just like an ordinary forest. The terrain is very complex, and occasionally some high mountains can be seen. Fang Ning is grateful that his phone has a map, otherwise he might get lost in it. On the way, she ate some dry food and water to replenish her energy, which made Pilley wary of any ambushes around her. After walking for a while, they arrived at a pool of water, and Fang Ning and his team noticed the creatures drinking water by the pool. A sturdy wild boar with a body covered in thorns. Fang Ning didn't see the other party's information for a moment, so he took out his phone and started scanning. Name: Thorn Wild Boar Attribute. Wood Race Level. Advanced and Ordinary Skill. Rampage and Collision. The analysis of mobile software does not show the target level. But there is a wristband magic tool that can be displayed, but Fang Ning currently cannot afford it. At the moment when Fang Ning finished testing, the thorn wild boar turned towards him, looking very guarded. Is it sensing the detection? Fang Ning speculated and commanded Pilley to prepare for battle. Fang Ning carefully considered choosing to come here to hone her strength. The Shadow Demon Forest is very close to the city, and the powerful warcraft has long been cleared. Most of the rest are at levels 1.10, which can be considered as the last qualified novice village. Pirli, keep your distance and don't get close. After a simple tactical arrangement, the imposing thorn wild boar couldn't bear it anymore. Roar! 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 Let out a few astonishing roars, knock down the withered branches around, and run towards Fang Ning. Pirli stood in front of Fang Ning, the unicorn's pointed horns emerged, and the beam of light hit the rushing thorny wild boar. Dong! A heart-pounding explosion sounded, and after upgrading, Pilley's skill power increased significantly. Smoke and dust rose everywhere. Fang Ning judged from the sound that the momentum of the bramble wild boar's collision had disappeared. The smoke and dust quickly dispersed, and the figure of thorns and wild boars slowly appeared. It panted heavily, its steps were chaotic, constantly stumbling between trees, and some thorns fell off its body. Fang Ning saw how effective Pilley's attack was, so continued to order the attack. Pirli's attack is strong, but most of the damage is blocked by the thorny grid on its body. Taste this. The highly toxic potion appeared in Fang Ning's hand, and he tilted his upper body back slightly, stepping forward and throwing it. The highly toxic potion slid out of the air in a beautiful parabolic trajectory and accurately smashed onto the back of the thorny wild boar. Purple liquid splashing everywhere. The thorny wild boar let out a trembling scream. Most of the thorns on my body have been corroded. The hooves kicked around the grass in pain, and it suddenly turned around. Surprisingly want to run. But by this time it was already too late, and Pirli's beam had already reached behind it. After another explosion, a large hole appeared in the waist of the thorn wild boar. Various organs exposed to the air, blood flowing everywhere. Seeing that the thorn and wild boar had been dealt with, Fang Ning excitedly ran over to collect the spoils of war. This is the first battle of the Shadow Demon Forest. Very commemorative. Pirli went to the vicinity of the thorn wild boar first, then Fang Ning. For the sake of safety, Fang Ning had Pirli attack the throat of the thorn wild boar. Crystal stones are usually on the head of Warcraft, and Fang Ning is worried that if he attacks the head with a knife, it will break the crystal stones. Taking out a small knife from his backpack, Fang Ning clumsily pondered how to make the cut. After being busy for a while, Fang Ning forcefully pulled out his hand. He pulled out a brown crystal stone. Thorns and wild boar fur are valuable, but Fang Ning has little experience. I can only cut off a few pieces of incomplete fur in the east and west. After a simple cleaning in the nearby pool, it was noon and Fang Ning was also hungry, looking at the stripped wild boar. He has an idea. He wants to have barbecue. Take out an iron rod from your backpack and insert a large piece of wild boar meat. Surrounded by wood, after simple collection, it was ignited and grilled. Cut a few scratches on the wild boar meat with a small knife, but Fang Ning didn't bring any seasoning and could only eat the original flavor. In no time, the wild boar meat wafted out a delicious aroma, very tempting. Suddenly, the nearby grass made a noise. Fang Ning was shocked and suddenly stood up. Is this the fragrance that attracted the Warcraft? Pirli is always on the alert. The unicorn horn emits a dazzling light, and the attack is ready. A young man with blonde hair and slightly obese physique emerged. He was also accompanied by a flying pet the size of a medium-sized dog. The obese young man looked at Fang Ning, causing her to blurt out words as if she had been struck by lightning. Brother, how fragrant you are. Chapter 10. Harvest Full Day. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Crouching Trough. The deep mountains and old forest have met non-tongue. Fang Ning didn't know what expression to make for a moment. Hurry, hurry. Pilley, drive him away. Fang Ning was speechless and quickly communicated with Pilley to attack. Pirli's pointed beam accurately hit the big tree next to the obese boy. The loud noise frightened the obese boy, causing his body to tremble and his golden hair to be blown away by the strong wind. He held down his flowing blonde hair and hurriedly explained, sleeping in a groove. Misunderstanding. 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 I made a slip of the tongue. I want to say that your barbecue is so delicious. Fang Ning breathed a sigh of relief after hearing this. He thought he had really met non-tongue. Don't come over, talk about something. Fang Ning still maintained a certain level of vigilance. The obese boy tried to get close and said, don't be so wary of me. I just smelled it. His gaze was fixed on the thorny wild boar at Fang Ning's feet. Brother, you can't finish eating such a big wild boar, why don't you sell me some? Fang Ning thought it over and offered a quote, 300 Dragon Gate coins, all for you. The obese boy chuckled in disgust, brother, I'll just have a meal. How about 50? No, if you insist. Make it a whole 100. The obese boy sighed and said, okay, just 100. I can barely accept it just to satisfy my craving. Fang Ning cut off a large piece of meat and threw it over, and the opponent's flying magic pet steadily caught it. He is so cautious because he has already recognized this flying demon pet. Name. Flowing Griffin Attribute. Light Race Level. Advanced General Skills. Light Blade. Flowing Shadow. Pirli's light blade comes from the same race as this demon pet, and it can pose a threat to Fang Ning and the others. The obese boy also threw the Longmen coin to Fang Ning and sat on the other side to start grilling meat. He seemed a bit embarrassed and took the initiative to bring up the topic with Fang Ning. Brother, don't you know me? I feel like I was quite famous before I woke up. Fang Ning shook his head, he really didn't know the person across from his memory. Okay, let me introduce myself. My name is Huang Tao and my family is the largest magic pet medical hospital in Linyang City. Huang Tao is ready to look forward to Fang Ning's shocked expression. Well, my name is Fang Ning. Huang Tao was a bit disappointed when he saw Fang Ning's plain appearance, and couldn't find a topic for a while. Fang Ning appears calm on the surface, but there is still some envy in her heart. Why did you meet a wealthy person again today? People are more infuriating than others. After a moment of silence on both sides, Fang Ning had almost finished eating the grilled meat in his hands, and Pirli was also full. Fang Ning tidied up and prepared to leave. Huang Tao shook the grilled meat in his hand and said goodbye with a smile. Fang Ning, thank you for the barbecue. I've vomited up all the dry food these past few days. It's okay, just give me the money. Welcome back next time. Shortly after Fang Ning left, a girl's shout came from near Huang Tao. Huang Tao. Where are the people? Will it take so long to get water? Huang Tao's face suddenly changed and he stuffed the remaining grilled meat into his mouth. Coming over right away. After searching for a long time, Fang Ning, who was far away, found a pitch-black cave. This kind of cave is usually the place where shadow demons like to inhabit, and Fang Ning stands at the entrance of the cave to make judgments. The cave doesn't seem too deep. After thinking about it, a bold idea emerged. Pieri, keep shooting beams of light into the cave. The shadow demon is considered the home ground in the pitch-black cave, and Fang Ning doesn't intend to take any risks. He wants to wash the floor with artillery fire. Boom! Boom! As the explosion sounded, many mournful cries came from the cave. Upon hearing the chaotic footsteps rushing towards the cave entrance, Fang Ning curled his lips and continued to give orders. Humph, Pilley continues to attack, don't let them come out. After a period of time, Pilley was also tired and lay on Fang Ning's shoulder, not wanting to move, and fell asleep. There was no movement inside the cave. Fang Ning held onto the demon's axe and was vigilant as he walked inside. All kinds of black monsters are incomplete, falling to the ground and stepping on sticky liquid every few steps. After confirming that there was no danger, Fang Ning began to enjoy the harvest. After some effort, we finally finished collecting 5 black demons. 5 crystals and 10 claws were collected into Fang Ning's backpack, and Fang Ning estimated that he could sell them for a price of 4,000 yuan. A warm current appeared in Fang Ning's body, and Pirli also upgraded at this time. Level 7. The upgrade of Pirli's level made Fang Ning very happy, which means that Pirli is further away from the 15 levels required for evolution. As long as she doesn't encounter any abnormal warcraft, Pirli can now walk horizontally in the shadow monster forest. Fang Ning looked down at the time, 5:30 p.m. This cave is good. You can find a place to rest away from the corpse at night. After setting up a small bonfire in the cave, Fang Ning woke up Pilley and briefly searched for prey around the cave. The wild boar meat at noon was really good, even without seasoning. It left a deep impression on Fang Ning. He plans to try some wild game tonight. Fang Ning is searching for a target when Pirli suddenly emits a beam of light. The sound of an explosion echoed above Fang Ning's head, and her brain immediately buzzed. A lizard with a body size of 70.80 centimeters fell beside Fang Ning, and a green film on its body slowly faded away. Fang Ning approved and looked at Pirli. Without Pirli, he might have been ambushed. Name. Pseudo-wood lizard attribute. Wood race level. Lower level general skills. Disguise skin, acid solution, are you so weak? You'll die in one go. Pirli's strength is a bit outrageous, isn't it? The fake wooden lizard's fur is a good material. Fang Ning had just pulled out a small knife and was about to move forward when suddenly the body of the fake wooden lizard twisted rapidly. It quickly sprays green acid out of its mouth. Fang Ning didn't have time to dodge and raise her arm to protect her face and retreat. Pain piercing through my hands and cheeks. Fang Ning suddenly shook his hand and looked at the fake wooden lizard, who had already turned his head and ran away. Damn it! It should be repaired. It's been eaten. As the fake wooden lizard was about to crawl into a thicket and escape, Pirli's beam burst beside it. The impact sent him flying and crashing into a tree, yet he could still move. The pseudo-wooden lizard tightly grasped the trunk of the tree, sprayed acid at Pilley, and quickly climbed up. Pirli dodged the blow over and over, but didn't have time to stop the fake wooden lizard from escaping. I don't know when the devil's axe appeared in Fang Ning's hand. He gritted his teeth and roared, "Did I let you go?" The devil's axe, with its unstoppable momentum, continuously cuts through several branches. Chop into the back of the fake wooden lizard. Hiss. Hiss. The fake wooden lizard that fell made a frightened cry and kept twisting its body, wanting to turn over. But what welcomes it is Pirli's beam attack. Fang Ning applied the healing potion to the wound while commanding Pirli to continue attacking. Without a few more cuts, Fang Ning won't be able to calm down. After the fake wooden lizard turned into a dark lump, Fang Ning was finally satisfied. Quickly cut off its animal skin and put it into the backpack. Although it has been damaged quite a bit, it still has value. Looking at the dark green crystal in his hand, Fang Ning speculated on the level of the fake wooden lizard. Stain. This acid really hurts. Such an anti-beating pseudo-wooden lizard, I'm afraid it's at level 9. How could there be a 4000 with animal skins and crystals? It was already 8 p.m., and Fang Ning decided to go back to the cave to rest. The harvest today was really good, but it's a pity that the crystal did not obtain the light attribute. Fang Ning hummed a tune and happily picked up Pirli, dragging the fake wooden lizard back. Firelight. Fang Ning arrived at the cave and found that there was actually a firelight inside. Sleeping trough. Did you grab the land and grab my head? You even used my campfire. He put down Pilley and prepared to go up and argue with the other party. Or teach the other person to be a good person.